We're sitting down with Brian Wheeler from Consumers Energy because a big milestone is coming up, the closure of the Campbell power plant. Now, tell us a little bit about this closure, Brian.
Yeah, and Eric, to you and to everybody watching, welcome to 2025. Happy
Oh,
New Year.
yeah.
But yeah, as we start the year, we knew at Consumers Energy this is going to be a big year. Once upon a time, let's go back to about a decade or so ago, we used to have 12 individual power plants here in Michigan that were powered by coal. Today, we have three of them in this location in Ottawa County called the Campbell plant, the Campbell complex. And by the middle of this year, not even the end of the year, but by the middle, by June 1st, those three remaining coal burning units are going to be closed. They're older. They've been around for as old as 60 years. So, a lot of operational facilities reach the end of their life around that time. And as we look to the future, we know that renewable energy, we've talked about this before, solar and wind, things that don't provide those carbon emissions that are better for the environment, those are going to be taking the place while we say goodbye to Campbell.
Now, what is if this is not the right word, let me know, but the
Yeah,
decommissioning of the Campbell power plant, what is that transition like?
decommissioning, that's the right word. Yeah. Well,
I,
we've been planning for this for a long time. We have some experience. We used to have coal plants in Muskegon, in Monroe County in the southeast part of the state. Um, the coal plants, the Campbell complex right now, it's running full steam, so to speak. It's full operations every day. It's burning coal that's comes in via trains, and tons, millions of tons over time that get burned to produce electricity for you and me. But as we get closer, we're going to begin to scale down those operations. We have, at one point, we had more than 300 employees at the plant. That number is smaller today, and it's going to continue to shrink. People who work there either will be finding new opportunities at Consumers Energy. We always promise that no pink slips are part of this process. We can find opportunities for anybody who wants them. And it's also the end of the career for some people, of course, who've been there for a long enough time. So it's a big transition. Of course, for the community, it's a big transition, right? This is a tax revenue generating place. It's an employer. It's part of the community. And so we're making plans for what the next phase is going to be. I know we're going to talk about that in a moment. So the future actually holds a lot of potential for this location and what we can do in the community. And then lastly, we plan. We make sure that come June 1st, when Campbell goes dark, that we still have the energy that we need for your home, your business right here in Michigan.
so you just mentioned it yourself.
Yeah.
What is the future looking like?
What's coming up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just recently, just this week, as a matter of fact, we announced one partnership, one agreement that's going to help to carry this location forward. There's a company out of Canada called Ashcore. And what they do is they take coal ash, the residue, the stuff that's left over after you burn coal, and there are millions and millions of tons of that sitting safely contained on the location there. They're going to be building a new facility on the site, on the closed coal plant site. By the start of 2027, they're going to be taking this old coal ash, pulling it out of the ground, and turning it into materials that's going to go into concrete. So we talk a lot about the transition for Campbell as being a clean energy one, being good for the environment. What we're doing now here with this partnership, with this agreement, is that Ashcore is going to take this material, turn it into concrete, and then, of course, sell it, for industrial and
Oh,
building and
wow.
other sort of uses. And when we talk about climate change, we talk about what's happening. The energy sector contributes carbon emissions, but actually the process of making concrete, I'm not personally familiar with it, but it's a very energy intensive. It does create its own carbon emissions. So this is sort of a refuse or a waste to something to a brighter and more sustainable future. So that's not the only thing we'll be doing. We'll be making some more plans and talking more with the community and our employees about what else we can do on that location with time. But this is just one example of taking that ash that's sitting there already and finding a new purpose that's good for the environment, that will create jobs, that will create more tax revenue for the community.
Now, where could someone go, Brian, to get more information about what Consumers Energy is doing during this transitional process, but
Yeah.
also, just kind of finding out
Yeah.
about the additional information from how this happens, how this works, how this affects the community?
Right. Yeah, and while the plant itself goes offline in 6 months, less than 6 months, we'll be doing a lot to make sure the site is safe, sustainable and safe, good operations for generations to come. Certainly go to consumersenergy.com. I'll just leave it at that. You can find, we actually have a dedicated page to that Campbell decommissioning, that adjustment that we're making there. It's a major transition, one we've been planning for a long time. I think if you're watching and you're wondering, even just right now, just understand that we do have a plan to make sure we have clean, safe energy for our state for generations to come. We are going to find opportunities for people who work there. And as you can see with this new announcement, there's a lot we still can do to protect the planet once this facility goes offline.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for making this announcement and
Yeah,
also letting us know what the next steps are, because I know big changes like this can get communities a little worried. But we're going to make sure
sure.
all the information you need, as well as links to connect with consumers for more info on what's going on, it's all going to be available after the show today over on our website, 9and10news.com.